You just have to find a place where you kick off a video, you know. I'm excited about this. I'm usually excited about most of the artifact videos I make for the sake of the North American Indian, the year 2018. I'm excited because these artifacts that you see come from one specific site, really a specific area by name, B&B field, which means bread and butter field. You know, when something's faithful, when something provides for you, you call it bread and butter. You know, that's my bread and butter. It's a term that most Americans are familiar with. I mean, this point right here is so big I can't even get in the frame. But B&B Field of Site 5 has been requested by a YouTuber out there, and I appreciate the request. I'm always excited about those because it gives me, I guess, just an angle where I'm able to grab stuff fairly easily and produce a video that somebody might be very interested in for a reason, one reason or another. I mean, you can't help but to love some of these artifacts. And here's the rhyme and reason as I go around these and take a close look at them for you. Appreciate the request for B&B Field. Again, meaning bread and butter, meaning it's a go-to field if it's at all ready to find some artifacts. It's a place you can go to and usually find some artifacts. It's a rich area. Thousands upon thousands of artifacts, I'm sure, are under the ground there. I dig none of my sites, so I'm not really a digger. But I'm doing pretty good without digging. So we're going to take a look at some of these and have a little bit of chat about it. Thank you for the request for this video on B&B Field of Site 5, Eastern Central North Carolina. Now, what I do want to say here is that these artifacts that we're looking at are artifacts that came off a place that I keep in my display artifacts where I keep my top shelf stuff. And I have other places that I think probably have some pieces from B&B Field, but I keep all my top B&B Field pieces readily available, and I can just grab them out of different compartments by memory as my memory serves me. So that's what I did today. Take a look at this bifurcated piece of flint. Really great early point about 4 years ago. It's a great point. It's funny because the serrations literally run up just a little bit on each side and they stop, and it was resharpened on the tip. So very good point to look at for utilitarian purposes. Sure, they used it. And on the back side of this flint, to give you an idea, because this is so unique, I never found anything like it, you have, you know, just little things here, but just the workmanship on the base. Sometimes with the flint or what have you, I have no clue how they worked it down, almost like melting it, like solder when it comes to some of this quartz that we're going to see here today. Crazy stuff. But that was a great point, as you can see. Found it in the mud, and it was just, it fueled me before I really even knew what the area was going to be. Maybe even before I called it B&B Field. And look at this. After I knew that it was an established site some years later. Strawberry quartz. All the quartz here, of course, is translucent. That's an awesome piece. From B&B Field. B&B Field, again, as I produced a video recently, puts out serrated pieces. I mean, just look at these as we stack up and go around the rim. I mean, almost all of them are serrated. But they do produce, they did produce points there that were not. Look at this piece. Unique as can be. I mean, just a stone's toss. A few feet or what have you from this point right here and this point. But the area is maybe 150 yards by 150 yards. And in the woodlands of North Carolina. Nice piece, interesting. Early piece, what I mean by that, about 4 years ago I found this. I'd say it's one of the first pieces I found off of B&B Field. Before it was called B&B Field, but it's just incredible. I didn't even know how great and how rare of a piece it would be. In milky quartz. Absolute thing of perfection. as opposed to this, which is only about a year ago. Thick piece of quartz. Good stuff. Very translucent based. Some of this quartz. This video will give an idea to the requester of the different points that have come off that, the top points, I guess, that have come off that site. Worth a look. The cold winter. Not going out today, that's for sure. Not going out. Maybe anytime soon. If rain comes, like they say, I mean, if rain hits this place Thursday and Friday heavy, then all bets are changed. All the sites will be changed and washed and made a mess of. But that's what we need. We need the erosion. Look at this piece. Fairly new find at B&B Field. Another piece that I found about 3 years ago. And if you're just clicking through, the reason I say these in context is because I haven't been collecting long at all. Look at this piece. I'm new. I'm a new collector, but I think everybody's got to just go ahead and play their part. That's an incredible piece for me. I loved it. It confirmed that I was in a bona fide site. This point, maybe 2 years ago, medial, I collected the field maybe for, I don't know, 4 years. This point came in, and of course it jumped to the top of one of my favorite all-time points. Not from B&B Field, but just all together. It's all together one of my favorite styles, and just a smoker. For me, just basic size and shape. I can't beat that. God have mercy. Good stuff, good North American Indian artifacts, and right next to it from the same exact field is a great, unique point. Look how they reliefed the back for hafting and wrapping. Isn't that incredible? And then beveled just a little bit on that backside. Unique point right there. And this mammoth for quartz. Serrated piece. You know how strong quartz is, especially the sugar quartz based piece. It's a very granular piece. Strong as can be, rounded off at the base. Thinner, as you can see, hafting down at the base. Hopefully my footage is coming very thin down there. You can tell they just thinned it off and relieved it. Just a magnificent point. That point right there, look at it. Same exact place as this. I mean almost spot on the ground as all of this and this. Just great. And then check out these pieces in the middle. Talking about an area of Site 5. Great how they work quartz. Piece of Marl Mountain and milky quartz. Really worked well. Looks the same on the other side. My focus coming in with that milky quartz. Marl Mountain that I really liked. And like I said, there's been many more pieces. For these, I would say there's 7 to 9 times, if not 10 times the artifacts that I pulled off this site. These just are the ones, the cream of the crop. They were easy to grab, and I knew where they were, and you never forget them. Great Marl Mountain right there. Very unique point here, even though it's small. You can check this point out. And I'm sure all these points, when you look at them in context, they do a good job of dating the site. Even though I have found triangles there. Keep that in mind. It's been occupied for thousands, multiplied thousands of years. Here's a Marl Mountain. Done in great workmanship and quartz. Little piece. The final piece here today, just for the show, is another little Marl Mountain made in rhyolite. I'll show you this piece. The workmanship is just perfect. Balance is just perfect. couple people on YouTube, a friend of mine, Rob, we often think that some of these styles were carried through in the memories and utilization of North American Indians, where people in historic period that were using bows would go ahead and throw in some of the older styles that floated around in their consciousness, like Marl Mountains, and utilize them for bow. So it might not really be that a certain style is just dominantly, religiously adhering itself to a certain time period. Size has a lot to do with that. But then again, in the older periods, Marl Mountain periods, they could have been making small points too. It's very difficult for us, postmodern human beings, to make a firm declaration of it. So I try to keep my mind open and humble. But I hope that does it, to give you a good show of the top points from B&B Field. Here in the cold months of winter, it's a tough one across the nation. People are getting hammered. And God, I hope your heating an ear and your heat doesn't break and you stay warm. It's crazy. It's frostbite season. I mean, if you ever had close to frostbite, and I had, I mean, it hurts, buddy. You don't want any of it. It's almost as bad as being burned, destroying the skin. I'm trying to tell my sons that, you know. All right. Give you a good look at it here in the pan out. B&B Field. Top points. Nice group of it. From Indian Trace to all you out there. Appreciate you tuning in. And that right there, that's Indian Trace.